During the August 26, 2015 Senate hearing on EFCC, premised by my petition, I adduced the following documents: a June 24, 2011 letter written by former EFCC Chairman Farida Waziri to the former President Jonathan, in which she stated that she recovered 967 billion naira in 3 years of her stewardship. A December 2nd, 2011 letter from EFCC Chairman Lamode to Chairman House Committee on Drugs, Narcotics and Financial Crimes, stating that he recovered from 2004 to 2011 1.3 trillion naira plus other currencies. A 2013 EFCC summary of recoveries from 2003 to 2013, in which Lamode stated that 497 billion naira was recovered during this period. Now, when you aggregate all these recoveries, you come up with 2.051 trillion naira. Now, I additionally adduced a 5th April 2013 letter from the Accountant General of the Federation to the Chairman, House Committee on Drugs, Narcotics and Financial Crimes, stating that EFCC maintains only one account with CBN and that from inception till 2013, EFCC remitted aggregate of 6.7 billion naira into that account. Now, when you minus 6.7 billion naira remitted from the 2.051 trillion naira recovered, you arrive at the conclusion that EFCC has stolen, diverted, and needs to remit the balance of approximately 1,993 billion naira. Now, these are the ways EFCC diverts or steals the money. Recoveries in CBN account not reflected in audited financial statements. 1. In 2010, CBN's EFCC account had a balance of 3.3 billion naira. However, it did not appear in the audited account for same year. 2. The 2009 balance on EFCC account with the CBN, as reflected in AGF's letter to House Committee Chairman, had 6 billion naira. However, the audited account for same year had 5.6 billion naira. Certainly, the 6 billion naira is not included in the audited report because 6 billion naira cannot be contained in 5.6 billion naira. Doctoring of bank accounts. 2 Access Bank recovery account statements tendered show the opening balances of 0 as of 1st July 2004, but no transaction occurred until June-July 2008. These transactions between 2004 and 2008 were expunged. The question is, where are the funds deposited between July 2004 and July 2008? EFCC diverted and concealed 779 million naira of recoveries from Tafa Balogun in its record. Instead of transferring 3.3 billion naira from Spring Bank to its Access Bank recovery account, EFCC transferred only 2.2 billion naira and concealed it by understating the summation of the balances in the various accounts in its internal record. DSP LMACL. Nuhu Ribadu appeared before the US Congress in May 2009, where he stated that 4 properties were seized from DSP in London valued at over £10 million, that $240 million was seized in Nigeria, that £1 million was found in one of the apartments in London, that £2 million was seized at the Royal Bank of Scotland, that accounts were seized in Cyprus, US, UK, Denmark, Bahamas. Now, of all these seizures, what EFCC recorded in Nigeria is 1.5 billion naira and 1.3 million US dollars. Now, 1.9 billion naira was realized by the agent that sold the properties for EFCC belonging to Alamisi in Nigeria, along with 60 million naira from rent. Total of 3.7 billion naira was realized from all the forfeitures in Nigeria. Now, EFCC traded with this money. It got to a point, the remittable amount was 4.2 billion naira. However, EFCC remitted only 3.1 billion naira to Bayelsa State. Armed with this evidence, I approached Bayelsa State. A mandate was given to me. I wrote to EFCC. EFCC invited me for a meeting on December 19, 2013. At that meeting, EFCC agreed to pay the money before the beginning of 2014. 2014 came, January, February, EFCC did not remit the money to me as promised. That led me to file a case against EFCC on behalf of my client, Bayelsa State. Now, the governor of Bayelsa State, my client, chickened out of this lawsuit, was intimidated by EFCC, and point blank told me that he didn't want to go to court. And thereafter, he sent me a letter terminating the mandate, along with a notice of discontinuance of the lawsuit. EFCC on October 1st, 2015, responded to a few of my allegations. Now, the good thing about this response is that EFCC has not come out to say that the overwhelming documentary evidence I tendered, that any of the documents is fake. Now, having said that, the purported response from EFCC actually asks more questions than answers. The issue here is very simple. If I, George Ubo, a non-EFCC staff, came out with allegations backed by 3 boxes of evidence against EFCC, and EFCC in its response did not come out with documents to refute my allegation, then EFCC's response must be thrown in the garbage. However, I will delve into these responses. The issue of 779 million naira diverted from Tafa Balogun is self-explanatory because I have the documents to show that. EFCC recovered 20 properties from Tafa Balogun, but represented it as if it were 14 properties. And this was achieved by representing a property in Wuse Zone 4 as 1 property instead of 5 properties. Also, a property in Asokoro on Justice Maman Nasser Street was represented as 1 property instead of 2. EFCC would want the public to believe that these properties are tied up in some phantom court case, which is not true. On the property in Zone 4, EFCC sold this property for 280 million naira through Dia Fatimilei and Co. Actually, this property was valued for 500 million naira. EFCC sold this property and obtained a UBA check number 231-85312 dated 23/5/2008 in the name the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The said check was acknowledged received by one KG Ephraim on 2/6/2008 and deposited in EFCC recovery account with Access Bank on 27/6/2008. On the same transaction, the disgrace of the nation called EFCC wants Nigerians to believe that there was a legal issue on the same property which the Commission eventually won in 2013 after selling and receiving the proceeds in June 2008, which is 5 years earlier. Tafa Balogun's Fuga Street Asokoro property. EFCC, in its submission to the National Assembly in March 2013, confirmed clearly and unambiguously that the property on Fuga Street had been sold. In 2015, in its response now, the same EFCC wants Nigerians to believe that there was a litigation on the property and the Commission lost in 2014. See the evidence. EFCC should say who it deceived: the National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria or the Nigerian people at large. Regarding my allegation that EFCC is in clear violation of its Establishment Act by placing recovered funds in interest-yielding accounts, EFCC came out in its response to say that the placement of forfeited monies in interest-yielding accounts is not an entirely new idea. EFCC stated different amount of monies it earned from placing recoveries in interest-yielding accounts. Now, EFCC has not provided any statement of account to evidence this claim. Now, EFCC would want Nigerians to believe that it had authority from the Accountant General's office in 2012 to commit this act of placing recovered funds in interest-yielding accounts. I would want EFCC to tell Nigerians why the Accountant General's office would reverse its position via a letter the Accountant General wrote the EFCC dated 22nd July 2008 with reference number AGF/TRY/RB/441/1/56, which states in pertinent part that the account should be non-checking and you are required to always move the balances in the accounts to your recovery accounts in Central Bank of Nigeria on a monthly basis. I am to remind you of the Treasury regulation which makes it mandatory for you to obtain regularly bank statements for each account opened by you and carry out monthly bank reconciliation. A copy of your monthly bank reconciliation statement for all bank accounts must be forwarded along with the relevant returns to this office.